I want to start today's deep dive with something that feels a bit like a glitch in the matrix.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
We talk a lot about fame in the modern era, right? How it's measured by likes, by engagement, how you have to constantly feed the
So
algorithm.
yeah, the rule is basically if you stop posting, you stop existing.
You just cease to exist, exactly. So, with that rule in mind, I want to look at this data set that completely breaks it. It's called Pantheon.
Ah, Pantheon. I love that project.
For those of you who haven't fallen down this particular rabbit hole, Pantheon is this massive project. It uses data science to measure cultural impact.
Yeah, it ranks everyone from like Aristotle to Elvis based on their global popularity over time. It cuts through the noise of who's trending right now.
It's about longevity. So I'm scrolling through their rankings for the adult entertainment industry. And the top of the list is, who you'd expect. Icons from the 70s, modern superstars with millions of followers.
Sure.
But then, sitting at number 71 in the entire world and number 49 in the US is a name that defies every single modern rule of fame. Kaitlyn Ashley.
That is a staggering data point. I mean,
Yeah.
to give you some context on why that is so weird,
Please.
she is ranking higher than massive, currently active stars. We're talking people like Mick Blue or Michael Lucas, guys who produce content constantly.
And here's the kicker, the part that makes zero sense. She hasn't made a film since 1997.
That's the paradox right there.
She has zero social media, no Twitter, no Instagram, no link in bio, nothing. She completely vanished almost 30 years ago.
A ghost who is somehow still an icon.
Yes.
Yeah.
So our mission today is to solve the mystery of Kaitlyn Ashley.
I love it.
Yeah.
Because this story, it goes way beyond just the industry. It's really a case study on legacy, privacy, and, the incredibly rare choice to just walk away at your absolute peak.
Okay, so let's jump in the time machine. We're going back to 1993.
The internet is barely a thing.
Yeah. Grunge is on the radio, and in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, we find a young woman named Kelly Hoffman.
Born in 1971, of German and Italian descent. And by all accounts, a pretty striking figure even then, before any cameras were involved.
And at age 21, she decides to enter the industry, but she doesn't do it the way you often hear about, getting off a bus in Hollywood alone.
No, she enters with her husband, Jay Ashley.
And that's a crucial piece of the puzzle, right?
Oh, absolutely. For the early 90s scene, you have to understand the market. The whole amateur boom was just starting, and the husband and wife team was a very specific, very marketable niche.
What was the appeal there? The fact they were a real couple.
Authenticity, that was the commodity. The 80s were very glossy, very produced. By 93, audiences wanted something that felt raw, real. A married couple on camera felt like a window into something genuine.
And Jay Ashley, her husband, he brought a really specific energy to this. He had just gotten back from 8 months of active duty.
As a U.S. Marine. In
Wow.
Somalia. Yeah, that's a heavy transition.
Yeah.
You're going from a combat zone straight to a film set in L.A.
Right.
And that intensity he carried, it translated to the screen. It gave their early work a grit you just couldn't fake.
So they debut in April 1993. The film was Beach Bum Amateurs #32.
Sounds glamorous.
It does. But she did not stay in that lane for long.
Not at all. And that's what separates her. Most people in that amateur craze did 1 or 2 tapes and vanished. Ashley she shot right up the ladder. Almost immediately, she was working with the giants. VCA, Vivid, Wicked Pictures.
That speed is incredible. I mean, to go from Beach Bum Amateurs to working with Vivid, which was basically the MGM of the adult world, in just a few months.
It's like going from a coffee shop open mic to opening for the Rolling Stones in the same year. It really speaks to her X factor. The industry lashed onto her instantly.
So let's drill down on what that something was, because physically she fit the classic blonde bombshell type, but the 90s were full of them.
Right.
Why did she cut through the noise?
If you read the reviews from back then, no one talks about her hair or her height. They all talk about her eyes.
The intense gaze.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's this quote from director John Staliano, who is a legend in that world. He described her as a dishwater blonde who knows how to be sexy,
Right.
but he specifically honed in on her hungry blue eyes.
Hungry is such a great word for a performer. It suggests she wasn't passive.
Not at all. She had this reputation for unmatched intensity. She was engaging with her co-stars, with the camera. She demanded your attention. She wasn't just in the scene. She was the scene.
And she was smart, too. She sought out mentorship from industry legends. I'm seeing names like Nina Hartley and Debbie Diamond.
That's like the Ivy League of mentorship for that time. Nina Hartley, especially, is an intellectual heavyweight, an educator. If Ashley was under her wing, she wasn't just learning how to find her light.
She was learning how to be a professional.
Exactly. How to navigate the politics, how to protect yourself.
And it seems like that mentorship helped her develop this incredible versatility. She wasn't pigeonholed at all.
No, she could do the really high-intensity athletic scenes, but she was also incredibly well known for her all-female performances.
Which is a rare crossover.
Incredibly rare. She could straddle both lines. She brought this authenticity that female viewers really responded to, but could also match the energy of the most intense male performers. A total chameleon.
She even managed a mainstream crossover, which was so much harder to do back then.
Right. Today, you might see someone on a podcast or a stream. Back then, there was a firewall. But she appeared as herself in an episode of Louis Theroux's Weird Weekends in 1998.
I love that series. It's such a perfect time capsule.
It is. And Louis Theroux always had a knack for finding the person who defined a subculture. The fact that they chose her tells you everything. She was the face of the business.
And if we look at the data, especially for 1996, her golden year, that status is just undeniable. The trophy case is stacked.
This is where she cements the legacy that keeps her on that Pantheon list today. In 95, she wins the AVN for Best Supporting Actress. That's a nice nod.
A sign she's arrived.
But in 1996, she gets the big one. AVN Female Performer of the Year.
Can you contextualize that award for people? It's not just some participation trophy, right?
Not even close. Winning Female Performer of the Year is the equivalent of winning Best Actress at the Oscars. It is the entire industry saying, you are number one.
Yeah.
It means more money, more control, better scripts.
And it wasn't just the critics.
No, and that's the key. She also won the FOXE Female Fan Favorite Award. It's so rare to get both the Critical Darling Award and the Fan Favorite Award. She had the whole market cornered.
And she was eventually inducted into both the AVN and XRCO Halls of Fame. So, on paper, she's at the absolute top of the mountain, but this is a deep dive.
And we know that when the professional graph goes vertical, the personal one often starts to crash.
This is where the story gets complicated. It centers around a huge business deal in 1995.
The VCA contract.
Right. So being a contract girl back then was the golden ticket, yeah.
It was everything. A guaranteed salary, stability, promotion. It was the difference between being a freelancer and being a star with a capital S.
And Ashley was offered this contract by VCA. It was on the table, and then it was pulled.
And the reason had nothing to do with her. Not her performance, anyway.
It was because of her husband, Jay.
Evidence came to light about his severe substance abuse issues.
Wow. That must have been a devastating blow, to get to the brink of the biggest deal of your life and have your partner's demons derail it.
It was the catalyst for everything falling apart. The strain on the marriage was unbearable.
And it gets darker. Ashley later alleged that it wasn't just drug use. She said the relationship was physically abusive.
There are reports where she claimed the abuse was severe enough to have caused a miscarriage. It's just a harrowing picture of what was happening behind the scenes while she was smiling on magazine covers.
It's that tragic irony, the authenticity of the husband and wife team that launched them.
Had become a trap. They separated in late 95, right as she was accepting that Performer of the Year award. The divorce was final in mid-1997.
So, okay, put yourself in her shoes. It's 1997. She's just gone through this messy public divorce. She lost the big contract, but she is still the queen of the industry.
Undeniably.
She starts dating a DJ. Fun trivia, he actually appeared in a movie with her.
She's at a crossroads. She could have easily doubled down, signed with another studio, maybe moved into directing.
Instead, late 1997, she does something almost nobody does.
She quits.
Cold turkey. Why?
The turning point wasn't professional, it was biological. She found out she was pregnant.
And this brings us to what we're calling the Great Vanishing. Because performers get pregnant, they take a year off, they come back.
Well, they pivot. But Ashley didn't do that. She moved to Tennessee.
The geographical shift is so symbolic. Not LA or Miami, Tennessee, to raise her child.
And she never, ever came back.
That clean break is what I find so compelling. I mean, think of the temptation, especially when the internet exploded.
Well, for sure. She could have launched a website, done the convention circuit. Even today, an OnlyFans account would probably make a fortune on 90s nostalgia alone.
We see it all the time. But she chose total silence. She chose a private life in Tennessee over monetizing her legacy.
She didn't want to be Kaitlyn Ashley anymore. She just wanted to be Kelly, the mom.
And here's the irony that brings us full circle. Her silence didn't make people forget her.
It made them obsessed.
The Greta Garbo effect.
Exactly. When you remove yourself, you become a blank slate, a mystery. And mysteries. Well, they breed rumors.
Which leads to the dark side of her digital afterlife, the death hoax.
It's a classic case of internet misinformation just spiraling. If you Google her name, you'll still find forums that claim she died on June 17, 2019.
That's so specific. Where did that date even come from?
It seems to have been a simple mix-up. Another person with a similar name or the same birth date. It's the game of telephone played at the speed of light.
The sources mention an industry figure, Roger T. Pipe, might have accidentally spread it.
It seems so. And when a source who is usually reliable makes a mistake, it gives the rumor credibility, it gets repeated, and then it becomes fact.
And because Ashley wasn't on Twitter to say, hey, I'm literally eating a sandwich right now, the rumor just took root.
It shows you how fragile truth is when there's no primary source to correct it. Her privacy meant she lost control of her own narrative.
But we're here to set the record straight as of this recording.
Kaitlyn Ashley is alive. She's
Yes.
currently 54 years old.
She's just living her life.
The rumors of her death were greatly exaggerated, but there's something kind of poetic there. Being dead to the public is the ultimate form of privacy.
It's wild to think about. She's in Tennessee somewhere, maybe at the grocery store, completely unaware that people online are analyzing her career stats.
Or maybe she's aware and just doesn't care, which is even more powerful.
So that brings us back to that Pantheon ranking, number 71 in the world. How?
It speaks to the density of her impact. It was only 4 years, from 93 to 97, a sprint.
Yeah.
But she did so much in that short window, the awards, the intensity, the look, that it resonated for 30 years. She built a legacy that was so strong it didn't need maintenance.
A 4-year sprint that left a permanent mark. She came in, conquered everything, and then just chose a different life.
And in a culture that screams at us to always be on, always building our brand, always monetizing our past, there's something incredible about simply walking away.
It raises a pretty provocative thought, doesn't it? We usually see silence as weakness, as losing relevance. But in Kaitlyn Ashley's case, maybe her silence is the ultimate power move.
I think the data proves it worked. She remains an icon, not in spite of her absence, but because of it. We never saw her fade away. We only remember the peak.
Well, if you're listening in Tennessee, Kelly, we hope you're doing well. And for everyone else, thanks for diving deep with us into the anomaly of the 90s. We'll catch you on the next one.
Stay curious.